Okay, this will be the review on Conics, Chapter 5 for Advanced Math. I had to draw a couple of pictures in here because they didn't show up on the program. All right, for a problem like this, we have to get the equation in standard form, identify the vertex, focus, and sketch a graph. Don't worry about these parentheses here. The only ones that matter are the ones with the squared. So if you want to, okay, you can move these to the other side, okay? So it's going to be y minus 2 squared equals, now all these are doing is changing sign. Negative 2x, okay, minus 6. All right, now the idea is we want to solve for this variable, okay? So I got to get this back over. You really didn't even need to move that. You could have just kept it there, okay? And then I'm going to divide by negative 2. Okay, there's a 1 in front of here. So what I have is the standard form equation is negative 1/2 y minus 2 squared. Be careful. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3 equals x. Okay? Now, to identify all my information, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the calculator. All right, I'm going to go to menu. I'm going to go to the conics area. Now, what you should do is look at what kind of conic this is. This is x equals. That's going to be that one. All right, what I would type in there is negative 1 divided by 2 for A. I would type in opposite 2. Then I would type in negative 3. Whoops. Negative 3. All right, and draw. All right, that's what it looks like. All right, G-solve, I can get the vertex, which is negative 3, 2. G-solve focus. All right, so I got negative 3, 2 for the vertex. And then I got negative 3.5, comma 2 for the focus. Okay. Now to make the graph pretty simple, negative 3 over, 2 up. Okay, I'm just going like this. All right, just match the shape. All right, going over here to number 2. Okay, this one's going to be a completing the square problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these two over. Now here's how I knew it was completing the square. Squared term and x. Notice I have an x and y, both a variable without an exponent on it, except for 1, obviously. All right, so I want to get that over. So what I'll have is negative 2 plus 3. This is x squared minus 6x with a space. All right, I'm going to divide that by 2. That's going to be x minus 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. There's nothing special to multiply there. I'm just going to multiply that, or add that 9 to the other side. So what I got is negative 2y plus 12. Okay? Now, what I want to do is move the 12 back over and then divide by negative 2. Okay? So if I move that 12 back over, I would have minus 12 equals negative 2. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by negative 2. Okay? And let's get a little sloppy here. There's a 1 there. All right, so my equation is negative 1/2, all right, x minus 3 squared. Okay, negative 12 divided by negative 2 is positive 6, okay? All right, and that equals y. All right, so what I want to do is when I go into the calculator now, okay, since y is by itself, I'm going to go back and use the y equation. Once again, negative 1 divided by 2 is in front of the square term. 3 opposite, I follow on the outside, 6, draw, looks like that. All right, G-solve vertex, 3, 6, okay, so 3, 6 is the vertex. All right, 3, 5.5 is the focus. Okay, so when I go down to graph that, 3 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay, it's just going like this, okay. Don't have to make that accurate of the sketch there. All right, let's move on to 3 and 4. Okay, for 3 and 4, write the equation. Okay, so for what you have to do on this one, all right, I'm going to make a little sketch to help me. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's my vertex. Negative 2 over, 4 up. There's my focus. So I know my graph goes this way. Now, that means I'm going to be an x equals equation. If you ever have issues with that, you can always go into the calculator and the pictures, okay, tell you, all right, that's a left and right, that's got to be x equals, okay? All right, now, what I can do there, all right, is that's going to be x equals 1 over 4 with a space, y squared. I'm going to put the vertex in first, okay? So this is y, you need to go to that y coordinate. That y coordinate is 4, but I'm putting opposite, which is negative 4. That's the x is 3. I'm going to follow that on the outside. Okay? The way you get this number, that's the distance from the focus to the vertex. And that would be 5 spaces. okay? And since it goes to the left, it's negative. So x equals negative 1 over 20, y minus 4 squared plus 3. Now, if you wanted to check that in the calculator, all right, I would use that equation, and I would do negative 1 divided by 20, okay? 4, 3, draw, okay? Now watch, G solve vertex, that's the vertex I have. G solve focus, that's the focus I have. I know I've done it right. So always check that. That's a free way to make sure the problem's right. Okay? Now this one's one I'm going to have to draw in. Okay? On your test, okay, on your sample, the focus is right here. This is the same type of problem as this one is. Okay? What you're going to want to do here, all right, your vertex is at negative 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is negative 1, 4. Your focus is at negative 1, negative 4. Your focus is at negative 1, negative 2. Okay? Now, since this is going up, this is going to be a y equals equation with x. Okay? Once again, you could check that with the shapes. All right? Now I'm going to put the vertex in. That's x. Right there, I'm putting opposite. This I'm following with the outside. All right, I got to figure out this amount, which is how long that is. That's 2 spaces, okay? So my equation is going to be y equals 1/8 x plus 1 squared minus 4. Once again, I could check that in the calculator if I want, okay? Since I'm claiming this is going to be a y equals equation, I'm going to go back to the y equals part. I got 1 divided by 8 in front. I've got negative 1. I've got negative 4. Okay, always follow on the outside, opposite on the inside. I draw, I get that. All right, G solve vertex, that's the vertex I have. G solve, whoops, exit. G solve focus, that's the focus that I have. So always check that in the calculator. I think that's the end of the first page. All right, that's parabolas. All right, let's go on to conics. Let's go on to ellipses. For these, okay, you can go right to the calculator for these. Okay, exit, exit. I'm going to find the ellipse, which is going to be this one. Okay, so what I'm going to have here, all right, I'm going to have 8 because that's the square root of 64. I'm going to have 5. Okay, opposite because it's parentheses is 2. Opposite is negative 1. Draw. Here's what it looks like. All right, G solve center. I know I have the right center. 2, negative 1 because it's always opposite there. So 2, negative 1 is that center. Okay, all right, G solve, I want to find the vertices. Okay, that's 10, negative 1. I can just move around and find them all. 10, negative 1 and 2, 4. Okay, let's keep going. 2, negative 6 and negative 6, negative 1. Okay, let's go ahead and find the focus, G solve focus. I got 8.2, negative 1. And I also got another one, negative 4.2, negative 1. Okay? And that's how you do that one. Now all I got to do to graph it's pretty simple. All right, 2, negative 1, 2 over, negative 1 down. Okay? All right, I just have to graph all the vertices. All right, 2 over, 4 up. 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 over, negative 6 down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 10 over, negative 1 down. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 down. And 6 over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 down. Here's what it looks like. Okay, pretty simple. All right. Now, this one right here, you're going to have to do some completing the square. Okay? Now, what we have here, I'm going to rearrange the x's. The space. I rearrange the y's. Space equals 11. I had to move that number over. Now, this one's a special one because I have the 4. So what I'm going to have to do before I can complete the squares, I'm going to have to divide these by 4. So I got y squared minus 2y with a space. Okay? Then I can divide by 2. That's going to be y minus 1 squared. Negative 1 squared is 1. Now I'm not putting 1 over there. I got to multiply that. That gets me 4. Okay? Now on this side, I can just go ahead and complete the square. That's going to give me x plus 1 squared. 1 squared is 1. I can go ahead and put 1 over there. All right? So what I got here is I got this equals 16. Okay? Now, what I have to do is I have to divide by 16, each part. Okay? All right? So what my equation is going to be is x plus 1 squared over 16 plus y minus 1 squared over 4 equals 1. Okay? Sorry for running into the center there. Okay? So, when I go into the calculator to find all this stuff, I'm still in ellipse. I'm doing exit. All right, now, since that's 16, I'm going to put 4. Since that's 4, I'm putting 2. All right, opposite would be negative 1. Opposite would be 1. And if I draw, that's what I got. G solve center. My center is negative 1, 1, which I expect. Okay, G solve, let's do vertex. All right, so I got negative 1, 1 here for that. My vertices are 3, 1. Are 3, 1 and negative 1, 3. 3, 1, negative 1, 3. They're also negative 1, and negative 5, 1. Okay. My focus, G-solve focus, 2.41 and negative 4.41. Okay, so that's that. All I gotta do now is graph the vertices. Okay, center is negative 1, 1. Okay, one vertice is 3 over 1 up. Other vertice is negative 1 over 3 up. Negative 1, negative 1. And negative 5, negative 1. Negative 5, 1. And there's my graph. All right, moving down to 7. Okay, I'll have to draw 8 in there. All right, the vertices are 2, 7. Okay, and 2, negative 3. 6 and 7. 2, negative 3. Okay, now if those are your vertices, the concept is these are halfway apart. Okay, so if those are halfway apart, okay, 7 to negative 3 is 10 spaces. 10 divided by 2 would be 5. Okay, so what that means is I'm moving 5 spaces down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here's my center. Okay, that's going to be a 2, 2. All right, so what that tells me with the ellipse, I got x minus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 1. Okay, now this amount here that I found is 5. Okay, because we just counted that. Now that is in the y direction. So I'm putting this under here, but I'm not putting 5, I'm putting 25. Okay? Now, it says the minor axis is a length of 6. So that's the whole thing. So if the whole thing is 6, a part of it would only be 3. Okay? So that's really going to be about right here. Okay? All right, 3 spaces. But I'm not putting 3 there, I'm going to put 9. Okay? And there's my answer. The other problem that I have here, the picture. Okay, I gave you the points of negative 2, negative 2. I gave you a point of negative 2, 10. Okay, I gave you a point of negative 5, 4. I gave you a point of 1, 4. This will be a gridded picture when you get it. The first thing you need to figure out is the center here. Okay, now you can go either way. Right, this is 6 spaces from here to here is 6 spaces. That means that if I move in, that's only 3. Okay, now. That amount would put me at, if I move 3 spaces in, that would put me at negative 2, 4. Okay? That would put me at negative 2, 4. So what I have here when I write the equation is I'd have x plus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 1. Now, this amount that I found 3 is in the x direction, so that's going to go under here as 9. Okay? Now, I got to figure out how many spaces was it going this way? Well, negative 2, 4 to negative 2, 10. 10 to 4 is 6 spaces, okay? So that's 6 spaces vertically there, okay? All right, 6 spaces vertically. So what I'm going to have underneath here is 36, okay? And that's the equation for that one. All right, so that's ellipses. Okay, let's move on to hyperbolas, okay? All right, let's move on to hyperbolas. All right, so on these, what I'm going to do, especially when you have these, I'm going to go into the calculator, all right, and I'm going to find the ellipse, okay? Now, if you notice, that's y, so I'm not going to use this one, I'm using this one. So make sure the letters line up. So what I'm going to put is 5, this is going to be 4, that's going to be -2, and that is going to be 4, okay? And I am drawing that, okay? So here's what that looks like. If you want to draw that to start, all right, you can go ahead and do that, all right? Let's find some information. Gsolve, use the over button, gives me my center, is 4, -2. Okay, so my center is 4, -2. Okay, my vertices are 4, 3, and 4, -7. My focus is 4, 4.4, and 4, -8.4. Oops. Let me go back into that again. That's 4, 4.4. 4, 4.4, and 4, -8.4. Okay, now, as I graph this, here's the concept. Is, first I'm going to graph that center, 4, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1, 2. Okay, there's my center. All right, my vertices are at 4, 3. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4 over, -7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, now I know it's going to go this way. All right, now what I have to do is make my rectangle. Now, I've already done, if you notice, I've already done the y direction. I've done 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we always take the square roots to get these numbers. So I'm good there. What I need to do is take the square root of 16, which is 4, and go this way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what that's going to do is that's going to make a little rectangle for me. Okay, I draw that all the way through my vertices. Oops, went too far. Okay, as you see, I already have the sort of the shape drawn because I know which way it goes. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue that. Okay, and that's my answer there. Okay, the standard form. Now these ones, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do some extra division here. So I'm going to have 9x squared, all right, 36x, space, -4y squared, -24y, space, equals 36. Now, I put this negative second because I put that y squared second because it's negative. Not because it's y squared, but because it's negative. Now, I got to do some special things here. I got to divide these by 9. That's going to give me x squared plus 4x. Then I'm going to divide that by 2. That's going to give me plus 2. 2 squared is 4. Now what I'm going to put over there is 9 times that, which is going to be 36. So it's another 36 over there. Okay? On this one, I got to divide by -4. You got to divide by that negative. That's a very common error. That's y squared. That's 6y. Make sure we understand dividing by negatives. Now I divide that by 2. That's y plus 3 squared, which will be 9. Now I'm not putting 9 over there. I'm doing -4 times that, which is -36.
Mr. Hanson, please dial 6513. Mr. Hanson, please dial 6513.
Okay, now on this one, what I have to do is I have to divide by 36 to finish. So what I got is a final answer there. All right, it's going to take up some of the center area. X plus 2 squared over 4 minus y plus 3 squared over 9 equals 1. Okay, all right. Now once again, I can use my calculator for that. All right. To help me do that, figure those out. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm not using y's first, x is first on this. So I'm going to use this one, okay? So what I got here is I got 2, 3, because that's 2 and 3. Then I got -2 and -3, okay? If I draw, that's what I get, so I know it's opening to the left and right, okay? Let me find our stuff. Gsolve, center, -2, -3, okay? So my center here is -2, -3, okay? My vertices, Gsolve vertices, are going to be 0, -3, and -4, -3. Okay? And then my focus is going to be 1.6, -3, and -5.6, -3. double check that real quick. All right, actually, I'm sorry, that's going to be positive. Positive. Okay, that's going to be positive there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and graph some of this stuff, especially the center. I'm going to graph -2, -3, -2, -3 would be here. My vertices are 0, -3. Okay, and then -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -3. So I know it's opening this way. Okay, now what I have to figure out, all right, I've already done the x direction. The y direction is 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so when I make my rectangle, it would look like this. Okay, and to finish my drawing, it goes like that. Okay, make sure you connect that in there. Okay, so that's those two for conics. Okay, on this one, your vertices are 2, 3, and 2, -5, or 2, 3. That's a vertice, 2, -5. Okay, my focuses are at 2, 6. Oh, whoops, ran out of room here. Hold on. 2. Let's start over with this picture. I ran out of room here to make the 2, 3, 2, -5, vertice, vertice, 2, 6, 4, 5, and 6. All right, 2, -8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I know it's going this way. All right, so let's say you didn't know what to do as far as which equation is this. Well, go back here and look at the picture, and that's up and down. So I'm using this one, okay? And that tells me y is going to be first, okay? So y is first, all right? So what I got is, I got y squared minus x squared over equals 1. I'm going to put the center in here. Now, if this distance right here from those two is 8, then half of that would be 4 spaces. So I'm moving down 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here's my center, which is 2, -1. Now I got to be careful. That's y. That's y. Opposite would be 1, positive 1. That's x. That's going to be -2. Now this amount right here that I just found was 4. So what's going to happen there is that's going to go underneath for 16, because that's the y direction. Now, you get this formula. You get b squared equals c squared minus a squared. Now, c squared, you need to find c. C is the center to the focus, either one. Center to focus. All right, now, my center's at 2, -1, all right, and my focus is at 2, -8, all right. 2, -1 to 2, -8, that's going to be 7 spaces. So that means that's got to be 49. So what I got is b squared equals 49 minus my a squared. That gives me 33. And there's my answer. Last hyperbolus question. Okay. All right. You've got a picture. Looks like this. Okay. With a -5, 5 for that number. That point, 3, 5. I've got a focus of 6, 5. And I got a focus of -8, 5. Okay? Now, since that's that way, that's going to be my x squared one. So that's going to be x squared minus y squared equals 1. All right? Now, if you look at this to this, -5 to 3 is 8 spaces divided by 2 would be 4 spaces. So I'm moving 4 spaces this way, which would put me at -1, 5. So that's x, that's going to be 1. That's y, it's going to be -5. Those 4 spaces there is going to go under there. It's going to be 16. Okay? Now, I got to look at it. If my center is -1, 5, and that's that one, that's going to be another 7 spaces. Okay? So I think I gave you the same problem here. B squared equals c squared minus a squared. So it's going to be 49 minus 16, which will be 33. They're not always going to be like that, but that's how they happen to work out on this one. All right. Moving on to the last thing, circles. Okay. The circle stuff. If you go back to exit, go back and find the circle. Okay. And this is going to be the circle. All right, -2, 2. All right, radius. Notice that says r squared. So to find the radius, it's a square root. It's going to be 4. I'm going to draw. Okay. All right. So G solve center -2, 2. Radius will be 4. So what that means for me is I graph it -2, 2. 4 means I go 4 in each direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not as good as I was doing it in class. All right, that's that one. Okay, this one we have to complete the square. All right, so I'm going to do 3x squared plus 12x space 3y squared minus 24y space equals 21. Okay, all right, I got to divide by 3 here first. X plus 4 squared is going to be 16. Oh, whoops, hold on, I did that wrong. All right, I did that wrong. That's going to be 3x squared plus 4x. Then I complete the square with that. That's going to be 3x plus 2. All right, 2 squared is 4. All right, I'm putting 3 times 4, which is 12 over here. Okay, same thing on this. I'm dividing by 3. I got y squared minus 8y space. I'm dividing that by 2. I got 3y minus 4 squared. -4 squared is 16. 3 times that would be 48. Okay, if I total up all those numbers, okay, I've got the plus in between here. If I total up all those numbers, I believe I get 81. Now, for circle, little different. I don't want these here. I can have a number at the end, so I'm going to divide these out by 3. So what my final equation is going to be is x plus 2 squared, all right, plus y minus 4 squared equals 27. Now, the center, okay, I took up the room for the center. The center is going to be -2, 4. The radius is going to be the square root of 27. Okay? All right, now, when you graph that, if you go back here, it can help you do that. That's -2, that's 4, that's the square root of 27. So the radius is 5.19. Okay? So when I graph that there, that's going to be -2 over, 4 up. To graph that, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit more over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit over that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit over that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit over that. So go something like this. Okay, there's your circle. Okay, last 2 questions. Okay, write the equation. All right, write the equation. All right, so what I'm going to have here is I'm going to have x squared, because 0 means nothing there, y plus 4 squared, okay? I'm going to square this amount, okay? And I'm going to square that amount. So what I do is I go back to menu, all right, and I do parentheses 8, shift square root of 3 squared, and I get 192. So here's what my equation will look like. Okay, and there's your answer. Last problem, another completing the square problem. I got x squared minus 10x space, y squared 8y space equals 0. This is a simple completing the square. X minus 5 squared, that's 25. Add 25 over there. Divide that one by 2. That's y plus 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. Add 16 over there, I get 41. Okay? All right, and that's your answer for that. All right, just make sure you go through. I know that was a very long review. Practice these. Do your best. Use your calculator if you forget the pictures of the equations. They can help you.